Everyone, this is Daniel and Peyton. We're doing our movie review, first episode, exciting stuff. We're doing a tier list. We're doing every single superhero movie. It's not actually every single superhero movie.
Most of the theatrically released ones.
Yeah, we just kind of picked the ones we thought fit into this, and so we're doing all of them, even the ones we haven't seen, and we're ranking them from God tier to garbage today.
I've seen most of them.
Yeah,
There's a few I know you haven't seen.
there's quite a few that I probably haven't seen.
I haven't seen some of them.
The good thing is that I've seen a lot of the ones you haven't seen, so I think together we can do this. All right.
Sure. We'll do it anyway, regardless of whether we can do it or not.
Exactly. Okay. So we're gonna start here with this one.
Batman 66, Adam West.
It's classic. I haven't seen it.
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's that version of Batman is definitive.
I should say I've seen clips of him and Robin together.
Yeah.
It's pretty campy. I think they have the Batmobile like being just like a regular car? Question mark.
It's a prototype car from the 60s.
Okay.
I don't get me wrong, this isn't like an incredible movie or anything, but it's Adam West. When you pick apart that version of Batman, he really is a very good adaptation of the character, and there's so many charming things about that version with like Cesar Romero's painted over mustache and the Batmobile just kind of being a car. I don't know. I like this movie. It's more of a companion piece to the show.
I think
I would say I put it in like fine.
I was gonna say from what I've seen or what I know about it, I think fine is a good place to put that.
It hasn't aged well. I think it's aged better than some of the other movies we're about to encounter.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get flamed for our Superman opinions.
I don't know about that. Maybe you will.
I might get flamed for my Superman opinions. That's
Superman
the movie.
Oh, the first Superman movie?
Uh-huh.
I would say it's a fine movie. I'd say out of the three, it's probably more close to good than the other two are.
I would certainly put the first one in good.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
But it's a movie that hasn't aged very well.
I mean, there's that scene where like Lois Lane is there and he's like, "Yeah, I have X-ray vision," and she's like hides behind the plant and he's just like looking at her. That's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Weird, Clark.
I think it's very earnest, and I think it's everything people want from a Superman movie. But I don't know. This movie was never. I never got attached to it like I know some other people have, and I think that might be a generational thing. But
yeah, I mean the score is like beautiful. I know, like the song.
It's
it goes bum ba ba. It sounds like it's saying Superman, even though it's not, which is kind of a cool, clever thing.
Yeah, I mean it's Superman the movie.
It's definitely I would say a very memorable movie. I even like the costume being like fabric and flat. Like I don't know.
And Christopher Reeve is great.
For sure.
He is a fantastic Superman.
Is he the one that plays Adam in Legends of Tomorrow or whatever? That's the one that plays in Superman Returns.
That's in Superman Returns.
Okay.
Definitely is too old.
I was gonna say he's that old.
Christopher Reeve is very dead.
Oh.
But
good to know.
No.
Sorry.
Brendan Routh did not play Superman until 2006.
Yeah. So then is the next one Superman 2?
Next one's Superman 2.
I'd say it's fine. I don't remember much about it.
It's fine.
Who's the villain in that one?
General Zod.
Is
He's played by Terrence Stamp?
I don't know.
Is that guy's name?
I couldn't tell you. My favorite thing is the scene where they're like in the like mirror thing and they're like, whoa, because they're like trapped in it forever.
They set up that in the first movie. They have a weird scene at the beginning where they trap General Zod and then it's not relevant until the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's more like grand in scale than the first one, but it's not as charming as the first one.
I think I want to put this one in good too.
Okay.
I think it's a slightly lower good. It's closer to fine, but I still really from what I remember I really liked the second one.
This movie has a director's cut as well. In the Richard Donner cut, which took about 30 years to come out. But personally, they're different movies. Somebody I don't remember name of the filmmaker who they got to come in and do it when Richard Donner got kicked off of it. But I don't feel that they're super distinct. Yeah, Superman 2 can go in good.
Okay.
It's another like very solid entry in Chris Reeves' Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I definitely don't think I'd put the Superman 3 in good, but we'll
Superman 3 and 4 will definitely not go in good.
What's right before that? What is this?
That's Swamp Thing.
Swamp. I've never seen it.
It's Wes Craven.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so this is the time of the show where we
Where
go to
we go to Google.
we go to Wikipedia and
think-
look up the summary.
I think it's Wes Craven.
Swamp Thing.
Wes Craven, like Nightmare on Elm Street's Wes Craven.
All right, so the Swamp Thing. Let's see. He's got a cool look.
Hang on, find the
comic book
movie.
wise. Let's see. They got a 2019 series about the Swamp Thing.
Yeah, apparently it was really good. It was on DC Universe,
Huh.
which nobody at DC Universe.
Okay, plot. After scientists is mysteriously killed, shit happens. Let's see. Action happens.
Swamp Thing is
He gets chemicals.
Alec Holland. He gets turned into a swamp monster.
He gets chemicals sprayed on him and a fire happens. Swamp extinguish the flames as a series of explosions burst from the water. And let's see.
I really
This
like
is a
what
really
I watched.
long plot summary for such a simple movie.
I really liked what I watched of the TV series, but also that's not
Damn.
this movie.
It says the Swamp Thing gets his arm cut off with a knife, but the creature easily snaps the ferret's neck, causing Alice to faint. He gets his arm cut off, and his reaction is to snap someone's neck. Okay, that's pretty badass, I gotta say.
He's a very Poison Ivy character. He's like the good Poison Ivy. He's the protector of the green.
Gotcha.
Go back up to the top. I want to see if this is actually Wes Craven.
Yeah,
It is.
That's
And
pretty.
this was.
I
What
gotta
year was
say,
this? What year was this?
50 something question mark 82.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
damn,
no,
that's
wait.
way older than I thought.
Yeah, we started with 66.
Okay, my
We're
bad.
not going that
I
far back.
thought this was like a black and white like.
No.
Okay, I knew Superman
82.
wasn't.
So this is 2 years before Craven did
Gotcha.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
For some reason, I'm thinking of like Body Snatchers era of movies or something.
Might have been a throwback to that.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know how old Wes Craven is.
Well, just based on the
Also
fact that
very
he gets his fucking arm cut off and immediately snaps this guy's neck, I think I gotta put it in at least good.
No, we
No.
haven't seen it. Put it in fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Okay. Well then, I'm gonna put Superman 3 in fine.
We need to talk about Superman 3.
Okay.
We need to talk about Superman 3. Superman 3 is bad.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not Richard Donner. And I think that's immediately evident by how not akin to the first two movies it is. It's more of a Richard Pryor movie, which is weird because the movie came out in the 80s and it was like it was a time where nobody was going for like a franchise. They were like, "Oh, Richard Pryor's in this movie. I'll go see that."
Yeah.
And of course, Richard Pryor's legacy has endured so well. I don't know. It's bad. There's a weird cyborg in it. Something I never enjoyed about these original Superman movies is they never took advantage of the very large gallery of characters the Superman character has. I mean, you've got so many villains to pick from, and it's like Lex Luthor every time.
I think they were too scared to get, into like the alien shit, the alien stuff. And I think that it was definitely we don't want to weird people out because comics are weird,
Yeah.
I think I
and-
definitely agree that this would go
It's
in
bad.
bad.
It's bad.
I think
It's not horrendous. We'll get to that one you're hovering over is pretty bad.
I was gonna say I haven't seen this one, so I can't compare.
Superman
anything.
3 is just it's a really good example of like even Superman 4 has something going for it. Superman 3 really doesn't have anything to back it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad. Supergirl.
I shouldn't say a lot of it. I've heard one person ever say that this movie is a cult classic, and I don't know why.
This one person lied to you. This movie's garbage. I don't know if it's garbage. It's pretty bad though.
I'm basing this entirely on it. So tell me why. Why is it?
Supergirl is DC's second foray into theatrical film. I guess Batman 66 and Swamp Thing count, but like in the actual like now we have Superman, because there weren't superhero movies at this point in time. It was Superman, so they were like, all right, spin-off time. We get Supergirl. It's riding on the coattails of Superman. It's not nearly as earnest. The villain's like a witch or something, and she has like lightning powers. It has none of the spirit of Superman or Superman 2 for that matter. I think it's worse than Superman 3. I don't think it's unwatchable. I think to be in garbage, it has to be like I can't watch this.
Like it will physically hurt you.
Yeah.
Like you will take damage, and it will be
Yes.
it'll be damage over time.
Yeah. Your Super Smash Brothers percentage will go up.
I'll say
that's a good spot for it.
terrible. Okay, I think Howard the Duck is garbage.
Have you seen Howard the Duck?
No, but okay. So if we're getting into Howard the Duck territory, we gotta pull up some references here. So if we got Howard the Duck with titties,
We don't have to right now.
hold up here. If this movie's got this in it, that's garbage. That is child defying.
You might cut this part out.
Okay.
Howard the Duck.
All right, so if we're talking about Howard the Duck right now, I think garbage immediately.
Howard the Duck has redeeming features. It's charming. I don't even think it's terrible. I think it's just bad. It's.
I'll meet you in the middle and I'll put it in terrible.
I'm the only one who's seen it.
I don't think this movie deserves discussion.
I think it does. It's kind of fun. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's not good, but it's endearing in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna fight you over Howard the Duck.
Okay. All right. Transformers.
Transformers the movie.
Good.
No.
I think the original is not. It's not
It's fine. It's not better than Batman 66.
That's true. That's fair.
This movie. Have you seen this movie in a while?
Okay, I was really little when I saw it, but I remember really liking it.
Two things. One, they drop an S-bomb in this movie, and it's like a cartoon for kids. And so, I mean, I was older when I saw it, but I imagine in the theater it was like, whoa! Like, you can't say that! It's fine. I don't think it's a movie that's held up particularly well. I don't think it's bad, though. It's just like, it's fine. It's a fine watch. Do we need to talk more about
No,
Transformers?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Moving on to Superman
Superman
which one is this?
4, The Quest for Peace.
I've never seen that. I haven't even heard this one.
No?
Mm.
This was the final...
Which one does Lois Lane die and he like makes a plan to go backwards? That's like the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not the fourth one.
No. It's one of the first two. I'm pretty sure it's one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's in the desert and he fought. Yeah. That's one. 2 is the one where he like kisses Lois and makes her forget that he's Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sketch. Superman 4. This movie is again Lex Luthor up to no good. It's more Superman than Superman 3. But it's not better. He fights an original villain named Nuclear Man, and he has really long fingernails. It's okay.
Are we talking like Freddy Krueger?
No. We're not talking like Wolverine claws.
Okay.
This movie's bad.
Okay.
I don't think it warrants that much discussion. It's Superman 4. I think everyone hates on this movie more than Superman 3, but I think it's better than in Superman 3.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Batman,
1989. Tim Burton's first Batman movie. I think this movie belongs in the same category as Superman the movie. This movie it's Batman. Michael Keaton is really good in this movie. I watched it recently. It has a lot of really fun moments.
What?
1989.
Continue.
I don't like it as much as Batman Returns, but it has like the first dip into this like, crazy weird Art Deco Gotham City, and it does a lot to reinvent the character of Batman after years of being a somewhat more lighthearted character. This was like the suit is all black. The city is dark. It's kind of grimy. The Joker has a parade to Prince. Set to Prince. It's a great Batman movie. I think it belongs in the same category as Superman. I think it, much like Superman the movie, it establishes like a lot of great things that formed Batman movies for years and years to come.
I gotta say, the only thing I know about this movie is the way the Joker looks.
Yeah, so you haven't seen Batman?
No, but I do know that it is an iconic movie, and I will take your word for it.
Kind of sounded like I said Batman.
I mean, it could be.
That Ben Affleck plays Buttman in Mallrats, which is funny because he later plays Batman.
Wow, so Buttman is Batman confirmed.
Yeah.
How about Darkman?
I don't remember what year this came out. 1990? It's Sam Raimi.
This is one we're going to look up. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, so this is...
I know I know Liam Neeson's in it, and Bruce Campbell's briefly in it.
So let's try to find out some information about Darkman real quick. All right, Darkman. Okay, so we got Darkman. He's got a face.
Pretty sure
seems kind of dark.
Pretty sure. Well, I think the idea is that he doesn't have a face. I think he takes other people's faces. I think.
So he's like an anti-hero, maybe?
I don't know, man.
He says he makes a type of synthetic skin to help burn victims originally before he became this guy. So he gets blown up or something. So he's lost his sensation on his skin, which gives him enhanced strength due to adrenal overload, and keeps his injuries from... That's a disorder. That's literally just the disorder where people don't feel pain. That doesn't make you stronger. Ugh. So,
I don't care where we put this.
let's look up some pictures.
I've heard this movie is very good, and it's like a cult classic. Also, I trust Sam Raimi with most movies. I didn't include any of the sequels on here because I know neither of us have seen Darkman.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't even know if they released theatrically. They don't have Liam Neeson in them. I don't think Sam Raimi made them.
So this looks like it could be an interesting movie. I'm down to put it in fine or good.
I'd put it in fine. I don't know. I
Right.
haven't seen it.
Okay. These both good to excellent.
The
I think
Turtles.
first one excellent, second one good.
I think the first one good, the second one fine. TMNT, look, you know I love me some Turtles. I think the first one is a lot like Batman 89, in that it establishes a lot of really great things about the Turtles. Great suits for the Turtles. I'm pretty sure Jim Henson...
And I still feel like the suits,
made them.
even though they aren't like gorgeous, they still hold up today. Where
they're charming.
I don't feel like they're like goofy. They're just, I don't know. They feel good in a like live action setting.
They're very charming, and I you can see right there. I love that poster
Mm-hmm.
of the turtles kind of peeking out of the sewer.
I think I'm down for good and fine.
I'll be honest. I don't remember that much about Secret of the Ooze.
Do we have TMNT on here?
Yes.
Okay, when we get there, we're gonna probably have an argument.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think that's in part 2.
I think that movie has aged very poorly.
I think
that movie came out in 2007. It's right there.
Yeah, so that's going to be in part 2. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Good and fine. I think the first one's objectively better. Like it's more fun. The second one's okay.
The scene where Raphael meets Casey Jones is super fun.
Yeah.
The part where they pay the pizza man through the grate is really funny.
Yeah. It's so goofy, but it's also, like you said, charming. I think everything about that movie just is nostalgic for me.
We were talking about doing a Turtles retrospective episode. I think that would be really fun.
Absolutely.
Watch everything from this movie to the Michael Bay ones.
Yeah.
He didn't make them. He produced them. Anyway. Yeah.
Rocket Man, excellent. That is
Rocket
a
Man.
film, as you say.
Is it better than Superman and Batman?
I say yes. It's not even a superhero movie. It's just like some guy who's like, I want to do the right thing, and then it's like kind of framed like a superhero movie. It's fun.
If we're putting Rocketeer in excellent, then Batman has to go in excellent.
I will downgrade
because
Rocket
you don't
Man,
want Batman.
because I really don't think the Batman deserves to be excellent.
Okay, all right.
I will say Rocket Man is just like, it just feels like a movie. It reminds me a lot of Tomorrowland. I don't know.
It's fun. It's charming. I tried to watch it as an adult and I was pretty bored. But
I'd say the dialogue is kind of flat, but it's like the characters that interest me more than yeah.
It's fun. It's fun.
And now we got
Batman Returns.
Now
a lot of people don't like this movie. Stop that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't like this movie because it's peak Tim Burton. It is so grim, and it's like an Art Deco nightmare, and it is also my favorite Batman solo movie.
Gosh. So you're saying this would deserve to be in good with regular?
I think Batman Returns deserves to be an excellent.
You think it deserves to be an excellent?
I think Batman Returns is a definitive Batman film.
All right. So if let's just look up what this movie looks like real quick.
You will find it to be gorgeous.
There's nothing, I don't know. I felt like there's just nothing interesting to look at.
We're watching Batman Returns because this movie is. The set design of this movie is insane.
I hate Catwoman's costume.
I think it really works.
I really don't like it.
It
feels yes, very Tim Burton, but I don't like Batman as a Tim Burton framed movie. It feels like I'm watching The Corpse Bride and Batman, and those two things shouldn't be together.
The thing is, it meshes so well when you get to the Batman Catwoman moments. You feel like you're reading a comic book with Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle. I think this movie is a definitive watch for Batman.
Well, I will, since I want to put it in garbage and you want to put it in excellent. I don't think it's garbage. I would say bad is genuinely where I would put it.
We can settle on good.
I will settle on good.
I think it is.
I think from a movie standpoint, it is probably more good. It's just more preference me. I think it's not. I didn't enjoy it. After that,
full screen again.
Yeah. So after Batman Returns, we got another wonderful Batman.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Haven't even seen it.
Really? Mm-mm. Another movie that is usually said to be like a definitive Batman movie. No, stop that. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would put it in excellent. I think it is good. It is it's Batman the Animated Series. Mm-hmm. I think it's that Batman. It does some really interesting things with the mythos of Batman, and it gives a lot of great emotional moments. I think it's as good as Ninja Turtles.
Okay. What is this?
TMNT 3.
Oh, I remember. I vaguely remember watching.
I think it's bad.
I don't remember seeing it, so
they go back in time. They're samurai or something.
Okay, well, whenever we do our Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles deep dive, we'll
rewatch it.
We'll revisit this.
I've never seen The Crow.
I watched it in class for something. I think it's rated R too.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I think I watched it for a club or something in like middle school, and I just was not interested in it. I'll put it in fine.
Yeah, whatever. I've never seen The Crow.
Here, let's do a little research on it.
It's about a crow or something, and he's like, now you're dead. Now you're the crow.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I thought it was just like really emo. It just wasn't fun to like look at.
I think it's definitely like of its time, and apparently it's very charming. Brandon Lee, is that who's in this movie? He died on set of this movie.
Really?
I think that was a huge boost for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one I've always wanted to see. I haven't.
It just for some reason like gave me like the Portrait of Dorian Gray vibes, which is cool. I like the sort of Gothica stuff it has, but I don't know. It seemed a little too indulgent.
I feel like you're remembering Batman Returns as the Crow, and I don't think it's the Crow.
Mm-mm. Oh, I see what you mean. I guess maybe it's just because they're both dark movies that didn't entertain my young eyes. I'll put Crow in fine now.
Yeah,
maybe that'll change.
We'll do a Crow deep dive.
Yeah, for sure, that's happening. I think The Mask is a genuinely good movie. I think like for how goofy and funny it is, I think it's just a fun ride.
The Mask is not a good adaptation of The Mask.
No,
but The Mask is super fun. It's a Jim Carrey movie, but it's very fun.
I think it's also like there's good animation that maybe it's like it could have been done worse. Like the CGI could like look verbose, but they kept like The Mask as like practical effects, and a lot of the like animations are still like really wacky and bendy. It's I don't know. It's to me as a movie.
Yeah. As the wacky and bendy animations, I think work for
the character.
Silly and the Mask is The Mask. Also, I didn't put Son of the Mask on here.
Yeah, no need to. I think you
think so? I'd put it in fine.
In fine.
I think
it's if it wasn't connected to the comics as a standalone movie, I think it's good.
It's definitely a classic. I think it belongs with The Rocketeer. I think I'm looking at Batman and Batman Returns on there. I'm like, maybe Batman goes in excellent. Batman does a lot to reestablish Batman.
Are we moving Batman to excellent? He gave me the eyes just now. I guess Batman is now going in excellent.
I prefer Batman Returns.
If Mask gets to stay into good, then I'll put. Because I genuinely think Mask is like a good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Is it the Son of the Mask or Mask where it does the "Hello, my baby, hello, my
darling"?
That's
in Son of the Mask.
I'm pretty sure it's in Son of the Mask. I was gonna say that's the one scene, only scene from Son of the Mask that I remember. I do not remember a single other thing about that movie.
There's a weird scene toward the end where like because apparently the mask comes from Loki, and like Loki and the kid's dad have to be like, hey, come here. Crawl to whoever you want to be your real dad.
Are you saying Tom Hiddleston fights for custody over the Mask?
Tom Hiddleston would not go anywhere near Son of the Mask.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Batman Forever. Yeah. Okay, I thought you were going to be way more conservative with that.
It's okay.
I like it.
I think I remember that this movie was, along with Batman and Robin, was on Cartoon Network often. I think both of them were like replay.
These two are ones I recorded.
I remember liking both of those. I liked Batman and Robin more as a kid, but
Batman Forever is a super fun Batman movie. They get a lot of like really really cool visual things correct with Batman in this movie. I think the Riddler is, again, it's Jim Carrey. It's a little overdone, but I think alongside Two-Face, he kind of works because they're both so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Colin O'Donnell's too old to be Robin, but Val Kilmer is really good as Bruce.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of memorable moments in that movie. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't know, Judge Dredd?
Judge Dredd. I've never seen Judge Dredd.
All right, research time.
I have both Dredd movies on here, yet I have never seen either of them.
Well, Judge Dredd. Don't worry about my spelling. So we got Judge Dredd.
It's Stallone.
much of Earth's become an uninhabitable wasteland.
So Judge Dredd, he lives in a future where there's like one very large city. It's like cyberpunk-esque. And then outside of it's just like a Mad Max wasteland. And instead of having like real law, there are the judges who are the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And Judge Dredd is the most deadly. They get the costume right. I don't know. I've never seen. No, hang on. You're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We're looking at Judge Dredd 1995, buddy.
My bad. Oh, there's another one.
One has extremely different reviews than the other.
2 stars.
I've heard it's bad.
It looks like it's not good, especially the armor.
The armor is very accurate, but I've heard it's bad.
I think based on Letterboxd, I'm down to give this a bad.
I might put it in terrible.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Terrible it is. Power Rangers bad.
What?
Oh wait, no,
well,
I thought this was the new one. Which one is this? Is this the original?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
The original.
Movie. But I don't think it's good.
I think it's fine.
I don't think it's objective.
I think that the TV show is better. The TV show's way better.
For what Power Rangers is, it's good. It finds a fine place to put it. It's Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I'm fine with putting it there.
Power Rangers, I think, deserves a solid fine.
Sure. Yeah, if Turtles 2 can be on there.
Batman and Robin, same level as...
Stop, please. Batman and Robin is...
I think
has aged well.
Based, like,
no.
if you were to look at it as like a writer, not good. But I enjoyed it. I think it's fun. I think the wax lip scene hilarious.
Here's the thing. It's funny now. But it wasn't funny then.
Are you telling me Bat Nipples is not hilarious then and now and forever?
I think it's bad.
You think it's bad?
I don't think it's a horrible movie. I think it does some fun things with Batman. I think it's dumb and cheesy and schlocky, but it's kind of fun. It's not as it's Joel Schumacher's second take on Batman, but it's not nearly as dark as Batman Forever.
I will put it in bad solely because of the physics of the ice. When they freeze things, they then can drive through it and break it.
Fine.
So
it's okay with me.
Bad, I guess. Men in Black, the first and third one are actually good. Second one's meh. Good though. The first one, I would say.
I'd put it in fine.
Okay.
I feel like it's okay. Men in Black and Men in Black 2 are the same movie.
Yes.
We'll get to that when we get to Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Really Men in Black.
Men in Black 1. I don't really like the protagonist. Like, Will Smith does a good job playing him, but they write him as kind of a cocky, annoying person instead of like a charming, annoying person.
Yeah.
You know. So I guess that's fine. But I think they remedy that in the third movie. The third movie is genuinely a good movie. We'll get there. Next is Spawn. I know nothing about Spawn.
Spawn's a bad movie. Spawn's a bad adaptation of Spawn. It's a fine adaptation of Spawn. It's whatever. The cape. They did a CGI cape. I mean, he's a guy. Hang on, we'll get there. Spawn's like he's a guy, and he dies, and then
he respawns.
He's a devil Spawn. It's not a good adaptation of Spawn. Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the HBO animated series, is a fantastic adaptation of that character, which I just did a terrible job at explaining, but. Yeah, the movie is kind of dumb and schlocky. They didn't have the budget for it. It was too early to do that character. Plenty of reasons to... It's bad. You want to talk about Steel? It's garbage. I think this might be our first garbage.
Was I putting it in bad, or where was I just putting it now?
Terrible, I think.
Okay, yeah, I would agree that it's garbage.
I think it's garbage.
I was putting it in terrible, but I think garbage is more fair.
It's, It's not Steel, first of all. Mm-hmm. It's a weird adaptation of Steel.
It's not fun at all.
It's not fun. there's a weird use of a disabled character. She's in a wheelchair, but it has rockets or something on it, and she
Oh,
spins around and
yeah.
shoots rock.
Oh.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
What's
I think I watched this movie in the lobby of my dentist one time.
what?
Yeah. I remember my dad was watching it, and it wasn't like a kid's dentist. I wasn't there for my appointment. I was there with my parents or whatever. It was like,
Okay.
and they'd play like something on the TV. Someone had chosen the movie Steel to watch, and I remember the wheelchair thing now. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Interesting. Okay. I have no qualms with putting Steel in garbage.
Hmm.
All right, first garbage is Steel. Blade. You haven't seen Blade, right?
No, I have not.
This movie is responsible for the renaissance of comic book movies. I think it's really, really good. I think it belongs in good. It's cheesy, but it's a great vampire slaying movie. Wesley Snipes is awesome. Bad soundtrack, but it's responsible for bringing back the superhero genre. I mean, think about even a couple years before that, Batman and Robin came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
And I mean, look at what comes out after it. I mean,
I would say X-Men is probably more responsible for the boom of it, but Blade is like, we're back.
definitely helped.
Yeah,
I think
and Blade's great.
Unbreakable kind of plays into that. It's a superhero, but it's also more grounded. It's not comic booky.
Which was good when it came out.
Mhm.
I don't think I would enjoy it now.
I remember it being good, but I'm fine with fine.
Oh, I'd put it in good. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
one
know.
of M. Night Shyamalan's only good movies.
The Glass is not good.
Glass is on here.
It's on
we'll
here?
Get to Glass.
Okay.
Split is also on here, which I
Okay.
don't think is really a superhero movie.
No, but
it's
because of the
retroactively,
retcon,
it's
yeah.
whatever.
M. Night Shyamalan said, actually, Split's a superhero, even though he, abused and kidnapped his girlfriend. Yeah.
X-Men. X-Men is a great adaptation. We watched this recently. X-Men's yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
objectively.
X-Men's a great adaptation of X-Men. This movie might have one of the best comic book casts ever.
The atmosphere of this movie is unparalleled. Every moment it may not look like a comic, but it feels like the dialogue, the characters, the emotion. It just feels like the X-Men. The X-Men was one of the heroes I attached so tightly to as a kid. I watched all of the animated shows. I actually read the comics when I could. I watched all the movies, and they came out when I was younger. So I watched them as they were coming out, and I loved them. I think this movie just does an excellent job of introducing all this weird stuff, and we just like it and accept it.
And I used to kind of be like, oh, well, this movie didn't embrace, the comic books in the same way that Spider-Man did. But you got to give it a pass because the last real superhero movie was Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were going to give Wolverine a spandex yellow suit in 2000, this movie would be in the dumpster.
I think it does a really good job at making it accessible to an audience who's not comfortable with that weirdness stuff yet. I think, you've talked in the past about the comment where he's like, well, what did you expect? Yellow spandex or whatever, because they're wearing the black suits. And it's really funny because Hugh Jackman in an interview was like, yeah, those tights were not good on your body. My crotch, it's funny. But I don't know. I think the suits look good for the movie. It had a much more cool feel than it maybe needed to for a comic. But even the poster is very steel and
the teaser poster and the theatrical poster are really cool together because the teaser poster is it's the shut door of Cerebro. And then the actual poster for the movie it's slightly opened, and you can see a silhouette of Wolverine and Storm. And it's sick.
It definitely has its problems, but I think that for what it is, what it did for superhero movies, and just how much I enjoy it in general, I think this deserves excellent.
I think excellent is a great place to put it. I think X-Men is awesome. Blade 2. This is going to be hard to convince you when you haven't seen Blade 2. I think Blade 2 is Here's the thing, I don't think it's better than Batman Returns, but I want to put it in excellent. Blade 2, okay, hear me out. Blade 2. It's the return of Blade, the vampire hunter. All practical effects.
Okay.
Mostly. Guillermo del Toro made this movie.
Okay.
So this man did Blade 2 and then made Pan's Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my favorite vampire movie. Blade 2 is great. It's got these vampires with like gaping mouths.
Mm-hmm.
And they are terrifying. The whole like crew is great. It's got fantastic fight scenes, a great soundtrack.
How do we feel about the protagonist?
Blade?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, the look, killer.
I was gonna say he looks cool. I like the look.
Blade is not a character to get emotionally attached to.
Mm-hmm.
Blade is a character to go, this guy is freaking sick, right? I mean, he's edgy, but he makes it work in a, very like I wear leather and sunglasses and indoors kind of way. Wesley Snipes plays that character really well, and it has a lot more emotional beats than Blade 1. If nothing else, I think Blade 2 deserves to be good.
So what are you proposing? Excellent or good?
I think excellent.
I'll put it in excellent, just based on what it looks like. It looks like it could be.
We will watch Blade 2. We'll watch Blade 1 and 2.
I think this is... if just by looking and what I've heard, I would put it in good, but I will accept your excellent, because I think that's probably fair.
This list looks nonsensical right now. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Men in Black 2. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's acceptable. Hold on. Men in Black 2 is the same movie as Men in Black 1.
Yeah, I think
it's worse.
I think it remedies some of the problems I have with Will Smith's character, but that's it.
Yeah. There's also a weird scene in that movie where Michael Jackson is like an alien or something, and he's on the screen in the Men in Black headquarters, and he's like, hey, I'm doing alien stuff. I don't remember. It's not good.
I'll say
wait, is this the one with the like talking bulldog?
Yeah.
Yeah, Men in Black 2 isn't good.
It's bad, yeah. I say, they don't, like, the first movie kind of does a good job of setting up this world of, like, oh, aliens are real! And it's like, they're in our daily lives, and the Men in Black are everywhere, and they wipe your memories on the daily or whatever. And then the second movie is like, let's take that and take it further in a bad direction.
I'm starting to remember Men in Black 2.
It has a whole lot of weird things. That's like, the first movie was kind of charming in a lot of that. There was some stuff I didn't like about the alien stuff, but the second movie made it even worse. Where it's like, this isn't interesting. This is weird. What the fuck?
They also have Patrick Warburton as Will Smith's like new partner because Tommy Lee Jones has retired.
Yeah,
and he's like, hey, we're going to the diner to get some. he gets replaced pretty quickly if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
No, I don't.
So
Spider-Man. Yes,
the first one.
It is a little slow.
Yes.
But it's also an origin story. And this is the first time it's not the first origin story ever, but it's the first modern superhero origin story.
It also, again, the costume looks great. I love the 3D texture on the suit.
The eyes look fantastic.
Everyone always argues like, oh, who's the best Spider-Man or whatever. I don't think that's a
they're different.
That's not a good conversation to even have because it's not productive in any way. I think as Andrew Garfield's portrayal, it's done well, but while the actor is responsible for a lot of it, the writing is also super responsible for it. And I think as a movie, this Peter Parker is written well as a very relatable, like sort of nerdy outcast character that's like really struggling with his financial situation, his family, and everything. I think my favorite part about the original Spider-Man series in general is just how grounded it is in reality, which is why a lot of people don't like the second and third is because they feel like there's too much emotional drama, especially the third one with the whole like getting married and then not getting married thing with Mary Jane and blah blah blah. Right. But I think the first one does a really good job.
I think the first one. This movie took a lot of risks that paid off. This movie was, at the time, the highest grossing movie in the world. And only, 5 years before this, we were getting Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And it made people so afraid of superheroes that the X-Men even made a joke about yellow spandex.
Mm-hmm.
2 years after that, Spider-Man is in theaters, and he has a red and blue spandex suit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's swinging through the city, and he's fighting motorcycle helmet Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is fantastic in this movie
True.
also.
I think that's one of, like, every single scene that I can think of that is like super burned in my memory is because of Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Like the scene where I've said this before, with the scene with Aunt May praying and he's like, say the prayer.
It like explodes behind her.
And she's
Yeah.
like, woo! But
Rosemary Harris was great as Aunt May.
True.
And I don't remember Uncle Ben's actor's name,
But he's also good. They're very good parental responsibility figures for Peter.
I think there is no superhero scene that makes me feel as much as that scene where Peter leaves the car and after Uncle Ben drives him to the wrestling tournament.
And that scene is permeated into every aspect of Peter's life from then on. Like, it's not, I would say Spider-Man 3 doesn't really use it, but Spider-Man 2 especially is just like so about Peter's emotional state. That scene comes up in so many times for Peter.
And honestly, I think this adaptation of Uncle Ben and Peter Parker is so influential to what has come after it. Like, I think this is Spider-Man's Batman 89, right? Like, it establishes so many things about Spider-Man while also retaining a lot of things that people enjoy about that character.
Yeah.
I think it definitely deserves to be up there.
So, after the excellence of Spider-Man 1, we have Daredevil.
You seen Daredevil?
I have.
Right.
I'll let you go first, because I have opinions.
You know what? I used to say Daredevil was my guilty pleasure movie. But now, I don't care. I think Daredevil belongs in fine.
I was going to say, I think good.
Wow!
I actually really like this movie, but to be fair, I haven't seen it for a very long time.
Here's-
But I think one of my favorite scenes as a kid that I used to is the scene where he's on the roof and he like echolocation sees the girl, his girlfriend or whatever. Electra. He sees because of the rain, and I was like, that's such a like emotional scene for me. I don't know. I was like, you have this loss of vision, but I don't know.
Here's the thing.
That doesn't make the whole movie.
This movie has... I think this movie would be greatly improved by a better soundtrack.
True.
Because it has a really cool score, but the soundtrack is Nickelback, Evanescence... I don't think it's Papa Roach, but it's something like that.
It's a product of its time, for sure.
Yeah. But it's a really good adaptation of Daredevil.
I do really like it. I think I'm fine with putting it in fine. I think I personally enjoy it a lot.
It's not as good as Superman the movie.
No. I looked up and I was like, yeah, it should probably go in fine.
It should go in fine. But
Yeah.
but the thing is, that's still generous for Daredevil. I feel like.
Yeah, for a general like composition of this movie, it's not that great, but I enjoy it.
I think it's a lot better than people remember.
Yeah.
I love the fight scenes. I think Ben Affleck is pretty good as Daredevil. Granted, he's kind of playing Batman.
Yeah.
But I think he's really good as Matt. I love that scene where he fights the Kingpin and the sirens are blaring and Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin is like, it's like, hey, you hear that? They're coming for you, Daredevil. And Matt's like, didn't you hear? The word's out. Hits on the Kingpin. Sick scene. Great blood imagery in that movie too.
Yeah.
Very Daredevil.
I think the colors are visually appealing in some shots. It's not like consistent all the way through, but you can tell there was a vision.
Yeah. Director's cut gives Matt Murdock more to do. We're not judging based on director's cuts.
Yeah.
But I think that is something to note.
Yeah. For
Coolio's
sure.
in it.
For Hulk, I honestly feel like it's a bad movie.
Oh yeah, I do
feel
too.
like bad or terrible.
I think it's in terrible.
I think terrible's closer.
You seen it in a while?
Not recently, but enough that I remember not liking it. You know what's funny? When I was like really young, I watched this and I was terrified of the Hulk. Like the idea of a person being like forced to like turn into this rage monster. I used to have nightmares about it. And then I watched it again and I was like, this movie's bad.
I can't believe that the Hulk became and this is more Lou Ferrigno
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing, but I can't believe the Hulk became a cultural landmark
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a good Hulk movie.
Yeah, and Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, like the TV show, was genuinely a good movie. It wasn't the Hulk. It was like a
Right.
detective show, basically, but it was a fun thing. And the Hulk was, of course, like a normal man with
He was
green
just a
spray
big.
paint.
He was a
but-
big guy.
Yeah.
Hulk has. I mean, you can't really fault it for the time
Mhm.
because it was 2003. But the Hulk has terrible CGI.
Yeah.
It does a really weird thing with the like comic book panel transitions.
Hmm.
That does not work at all.
And it's a shame that, like, it because of this movie, I feel like, being as bad as it was, we didn't get a good Hulk movie with the MCU. They were like, we're just going to put him in Avengers without giving him a movie because we don't want to relive this Hulk.
You sure about that?
That's not the same Hulk. That's not, well, you know, I mean, like, with the same actor, like Mark Ruffalo.
It is. It's the same version of the character, but I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah. It's like,
We'll get to the Incredible Hulk.
yeah.
Hulk 2003. It's got weird gummy Hulk. I think Eric Bana is fine. I don't remember who else is in that movie. The video game is bad, but it's kind of fun. I remember when I was a kid, you play the Hulk video game, and you have this move called the Sonic Clap. When you press circle, you do the clap his hands together and it makes a sonic wave.
Mhm.
And then you do that through the whole game, and it's like all reliable, right? And then you get to the Absorbing Man boss at the end, and if you try to do the Sonic Clap, he doesn't even move, and he goes, "Oh, Sonic Clap, ha!"
That echoed.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah, a little bit.
That's funny.
It's okay. It's an echo into the past to the
Yeah,
Hulk 2003
exactly.
PlayStation 2 game.
Speaking of an echo into the past.
X-Men 2. We watched this movie last week.
Yeah, we watched X1 and 2, but I don't think you were there for the first one.
I watched half of the first one,
Mm.
but I know it by heart.
I do as well. I think
I don't think it's as good as X-Men
I
1.
think it's fine and good.
I agree. I used to think it was better than X-Men 1, and I watched it recently. Nightcrawler's great. I think Magneto takes a very interesting role in this movie. It's a great sequel.
I think I personally like X2 better, but I recognize that I think writing wise it is not as cohesive. I think the reason I like it is because the characters are established and now we're just like having fun with them. Origin stories aren't always my favorite thing in the world. And I know this isn't particularly like origin story, but again, Nightcrawler is my favorite X-Men character, but I don't like how serious he is, and that's mostly because he's like, oh, we don't know who he is, but at the beginning we think he's this assassin or something, and it's like, oh, he was mind controlled, and then blah blah. It's, you know, they didn't utilize Nightcrawler in the best way because they had to introduce him and then also use him for this plot device and everything, and then you know, Jean has her whole the Phoenix thing starting to happen or whatever, and she just like she's able to turn on the ship and stop the water, but only from outside the ship. If she could move the ship, couldn't she just be inside the ship and had turned it on and moved the ship? You know, she didn't have to die.
Right.
There's a lot of melodrama in that movie that's just like, it doesn't add a whole lot. But I gotta say, I really love, especially like the scene where they break into the house and they're like stealing it. Like that's terrifying.
Well, and this is a really good Wolverine movie as well.
And when
I think it does a great job at exploring like Weapon X in a retrospective way, because I don't. We'll get to X-Men Origins Wolverine, but I don't think it's a movie we ever needed, because I think this movie does such a great job at exploring that through Wolverine's past.
Yeah, for sure.
William Stryker's great in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much until we rewatched it, how much I actually think the actor does a good job at that role.
Yeah.
The scene with his son Jason, like them fighting with Xavier, also scary, terrifying.
I think that this movie's great. I think even in retrospect, with like Logan and everything, I think this movie does a great job at setting up more of an arc for Wolverine.
Hold up, we're plugging in the computer here.
Technical difficulties. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah. Anyway,
So
X-Men 2, great movie.
to conclude X-Men 2, again, I feel like it is. I enjoy it more than the first one, by a pretty significant margin. But I do think that it's probably more good than excellent.
I know you haven't seen Blade Trinity, but I have also not seen Blade Trinity. Put it in terrible. I don't have anything to say about it.
I think that's fair.
I've been avoiding seeing it because I don't want to tarnish Blade and Blade 2.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen this.
Catwoman. Not even. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Catwoman is a horrible movie. It's not Catwoman.
I don't feel like they've ever done Catwoman justice.
They did with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about.
Okay.
Batman Returns.
All right.
Here's the thing. Michelle Pfeiffer is really good as Selena Kyle. But on the note of Selena Kyle, this isn't Selena Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Patience Phillips.
Okay.
And she has cat powers, and she wears like a BDSM outfit.
So you're saying this is Hellcat.
It's kind of Hellcat.
Yeah.
It's a weird, schlocky movie. It's a lot like Daredevil, but it doesn't have the charming qualities of Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they went with Catwoman. I guess it's a similar thing to Supergirl, where like, oh, we did Batman well, so let's roll with Catwoman spin-off.
She's not even Batman though. She's not a foil to Batman. She's just. You know.
Well, and again, it's a movie that came at a time where we could start doing real superhero movies now. Like DC rolled out Catwoman and Constantine, which we'll talk about in a minute, and stuff like that before they even did like The Flash and Wonder Woman. And we still haven't gotten The Flash. It's kind of baffling to me. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Catwoman, I think, deserves to be in the bin.
Yeah. I think Hellboy, I watched it at the same time that I watched Ghost Rider, I think, and I put those...
They are not similar. I think Hellboy is good.
Okay.
Why? I don't think Hellboy is not as good as people remember it being. I think Hellboy 2 is better. But it is one, again, Guillermo del Toro went from Blade 2 to Hellboy to Pan's Labyrinth. I skipped a beat in there earlier. Hellboy is the same. It's the practical effects. It's fantastic casting. Ron Perlman is great as Hellboy. It's kind of everything a Hellboy adaptation needs to be, although it's not exactly Hellboy. It's similar to like some of these other early movies where it's like it's not exactly that version of the character, but it's still amazing.
If Hellboy belongs in good, I think that this also deserves to be in good. I don't think that this is on the same
Put
level.
Hellboy in fine. We'll watch Blade 2. I think Blade 2 is... It's between those two. I think Blade 2 is like it's not a definitive superhero movie.
Well,
we should also watch Hellboy.
I think this is a definitive movie and belongs in God tier.
Yes.
I don't think either of us could talk enough like we could spend 3 hours talking about this movie and still have stuff to say.
Spider-Man 2, I think, and I've said this to you before, I think Spider-Man 2 is every single thing a superhero movie needs to be. It's grounded in emotion. It's visually very stunning. It hasn't aged poorly at all, I don't think.
I don't think that, especially like what you'd think would not look good, like the fighting with Doc Ock literally on the side of the train with like, it's literally a CG Doc Ock and CG Spider-Man fighting, and because of the way that they've like motion blurred it and stuff, it looks like a kinetic real fight that's happening. Like the CGI, it stands to today.
Tobey Maguire's great. Alfred Molina is fantastic as Dr. Octopus.
He's written as a very great, father figure. I think one of my favorite things about the Raimi Spider-Man movies is the dialogue. Like, the things where he's like, well, with this, with great power comes great responsibility is a line that even Into the Spider-Verse quotes, it's famous Spider-Man line, but there's so many other great lines in Spider-Man 2 from like Doc Ock before he turns into Doc Ock to Peter. That's just like great, and it's like I wish people could talk to each other like this in real life. It's so connected and human. And,
well, and it's a movie that if you watch this next to Iron Man, you'd be like, this is so straight. It's a weird like step back into an era, and maybe this is just Sam Raimi, but like an era where dialogue didn't have to be as snappy, because there are funny beats in this movie that are just like Peter saying pizza time, and like, he was late and he can't deliver the pizzas.
And it's okay with being like awkward. Like people don't always know what to say, like in real life, and it's okay with having those moments of not necessarily awkwardness, but it's not like cleverness. And like even when MJ's like on the other side of the fence and they're like, well, I love you, basically, but I'm not going to tell you I love you and all this stuff. Like the dialogue there is so like
the scene at the party where Peter starts quoting poetry, and
so goofy.
You're in at that point, but it's goofy.
Yeah,
and it works,
especially for Spider-Man. Like he doesn't have the answers. He's not like a perfect person. He's a college student trying to figure out life, and I don't know. I think that's pretty much a summation of everything I have to say about that.
I think Spider-Man 2 is great. It's a great movie.
In that vein, I think this is an excellent movie.
Yeah, agreed.
Not much else to say besides that. That really impacted my childhood. Great animation, great story. It sets up for a really great sequel, and unfortunately doesn't pull through. But I'm assuming Incredibles 2 is on here
Incredibles 2
somewhere.
Is way down here.
Yeah, it'll be in part 2.
The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
It's great, and it does a great job at introducing original superheroes and presenting them in kind of a Sam Raimi way. I mean, even that first scene where it's like clearly the golden age of comic books, and everything's at sunset.
I work alone. Yeah.
Oh, and they do a great job at modernizing that. And it's all. This movie feels before its time. Even I mean, it feels like they've managed to capture like the old way of superhero movies and the modern way of superhero movies at the same time.
And it's odd that because like this is pretty much every superhero movie that's come out, and not all of these are quote unquote mainstream, right? And Incredibles somehow takes the superhero trope and takes it that step further into the future, where it's like, well, what if superheroes were a problem? And it's like, I don't know, it does something with like. It does feel like it's a lot more forward-thinking than a superhero movie might be. And it really has this really cool spy vibe with everything. I love that. Especially the music. The score is great. Brad Bird is one of my favorite directors of all time.
Michael Giacchino is a great superhero composer. And I think this, despite him doing Spider-Man, and now he's doing Batman, and he did Doctor Strange, this is like... somehow his definitive superhero score is one that's not even based on Marvel or DC,
Yeah. And even with that, Brad Bird in an interview was like, I based a lot of the dialogue between Elastigirl and Bob because of my relationship with my wife and stuff. Like, especially when they're arguing, and that scene where he sneaks in, gets the cake, and she's like, where were you at? Like, it's funny because the dialogue feels so real and fun, and it's Brad Bird said he literally based on actual conversations he had, and it just feels like a good family.
Pixar went crazy with this movie, and I'm very glad they did, because it's The Incredibles, man. I mean, it's great.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. It is incredible. We'll add our own category, incredible. It's
fit it in. Right
okay,
there.
we have. we'll add two more. We have Incredible and Incrediboy.
Oh my god.
The Punisher.
Oh boy.
It's got. This one with Thomas Jane. I'm pretty sure. No. I don't. I think it's fine.
You think it's fine?
It's fine. It's whatever.
Okay. I don't have much to say.
Bad.
I don't have much to say about this.
It's not bad. It's, you know what? Put Punisher in bad, and we'll put Warzone in fine, Punisher is a pretty good adaptation of Punisher, but it's a not very interesting action movie. I don't think it brings anything in particular to the table with the Punisher.
Yeah.
Or superhero movies.
I think this is excellent.
I don't.
You don't?
I think Batman Begins is a snooze fest, dude.
Like, not even good? Like, just fine?
It doesn't belong with TMNT2. Yeah, it's good. It's better than Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good Batman movie. I think it's slower than, like, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I think it's definitely just not, like, it's not as good as Spider-Man, that's for sure.
I think it's a... You know what? I'm not giving it enough credit. Batman Begins is exactly what Batman needed to be in 2005.
Yeah, it's more I would say, I don't know about watered down, but it definitely feels like an accessible version of Batman.
It's not... This movie is even more comic booky than Dark Knight, which I think is a really good thing, which they scale down in the next movie, but...
It's definitely a lot more brooding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that like that, man. Yeah. I don't like the voice, although it gets worse in Dark Knight. It's better in Batman Begins.
I don't mind the voice, but that's also was like my first voiced version of Batman, so...
Yeah. Well, then, and again... Batman Begins is a movie where they kind of had to do something different with Batman because the last Batman movie was Batman and Robin. And much like Superman 4, that could have been like the end of Batman. And it wasn't. Christopher Nolan reinvented the wheel here, and I think it's really good.
Sure.
But I'm not going to... Like, if you were like, you want to watch X-Men or Batman 89 or Spider-Man or Batman Begins, I'd be like, they're not on the same level.
Yeah, for sure.
Constantine.
I know about the character Constantine from the CW, but that is all I know. I don't know anything about the movie.
Gotcha. Constantine is a... I put it in fine. It is really fun, actually. It is a good supernatural action horror movie. It's not a great Constantine adaptation, and I think that's okay. I think Keanu Reeves is good in it. Tilda Swinton is the angel Gabriel, which I think is a very interesting performance. Yeah, I mean, Constantine's fun. I think you could adapt Constantine better, and I think they did in its TV show before they moved it to CW.
Yeah.
And I mean, even after he's on like CW, he's still good. But yeah, Constantine's a good movie.
I think that's as long as the Catwoman.
Yeah, Elektra's terrible. Elektra did not need to happen. Again, it was a Jennifer Gardner's popular sort of decision. It's got weird villains. It's got weird explorations of Elektra.
Yeah.
It's not even very Elektra. I'm not sure why they made that.
It was also, I just feel like, I don't know, I remember it being very confusing. Like, I never, was invested in what was going on.
It doesn't even feel like a Daredevil spinoff.
See, now, with the first Fantastic Four movie, I feel like it's good. A lot of people would say that it's bad or fine. I think I see fine.
It's not better than Hellboy.
I think
I'd put it in fine. It's a good Fantastic Four movie. It's Doctor Doom was kind of just Norman Osborn. I think it's fun.
I think my favorite things about the movie is The Thing and Invisible Woman. All the other characters are not that interesting. Like, Johnny's fine. Reed's he's okay.
Reed's not as good as Reed usually is.
Yeah, and The Thing, has his thing with his wife / girlfriend, I forget. Which is an interesting thing that happens, and then, Invisible Woman is just like a interesting and fun character.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything else is okay.
It's fine. I think the second one's a little bit better.
I agree. I
think it's more of a Fantastic Four movie, even though they don't do the Galactus thing. It's fine.
Sky High.
I don't even really want to talk about Sky High.
Just kidding. I think it's fine.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoy it.
Whatever.
It's definitely like a Disney Channel original vibe.
Absolutely. A lot of Sky High alumni are in comic book movies these days, or just they're like Danielle Panabaker is in the Flash TV show. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is the villain in that movie, or the secret villain of that movie, who bounced back from Sky High.
Yeah, for sure. I think the cast is good. They do a good job mostly. I think I don't like the sidekicks very much. I really like the villain. You know, she's cool.
I hesitate to say it's unoriginal because at the time it might have been more original, but it's whatever. I don't want to talk about Sky High.
Yeah, I feel like writing wise it should be here, but I really like it. And want it to be here. I want it to be here.
I love The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but it's bad.
You cannot tell me that
it's objectively bad.
Send him to the principal and have him expelled immediately.
It's
like
I know
there's so many iconic lines in that.
I love this movie.
Yes. End of story.
No,
I love this movie. I love this movie.
Put it in fine.
I know, like, the writing-wise, it should probably be in terrible.
Yeah.
It's not written well. The CGI is not good, but it's
charming.
Fun.
It's charming. It's fun. I think
the dialogue is memorable.
I think thematically, it's really strong.
I really like the emotional beats of everything.
Yeah.
The ice castle.
Awesome
Epic.
Score in that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Great score.
I think the child nature of everything is super cool.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a superhero movie, though. I know why it is because they're superheroes, but it feels more like a fantasy movie to me because it's about a kid journeying into a fantasy realm, basically. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I just really like this movie. I do.
This list looks really, really wacky.
I think, No. Put that in God tier.
We will compromise there. I really like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but it is also Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
This is true.
I think it's bad.
It's bad.
I think it's bad.
Okay. This is the one where at the end they're in the helicopter and Superman's just been stabbed by like the kryptonite or whatever, and there's like they land the helicopter on the water.
Yes.
Okay. I was trying to remember if this is the same one.
This movie's really weird to me because they are like 20 years removed from any Superman movies.
It feels too polished to me in the sense of like it doesn't feel like a comic. It feels like a business movie. It feels like Inception, like visually to me. It looks like Inception more than it does a Superman movie.
It's all sepia toned, and it's trying to emulate that Chris Reeve era of Superman. And I get what they were going for, but I think this movie is like absolute proof that if you try to do that again, it's not going to work. And I don't think it works with a modern Superman. And I think they had an opportunity here to do something new and different with the character, like Batman Begins did.
Yeah.
And I think they misstepped with this one. I think in 2006, especially after seeing X-Men, and I know they saw X-Men because Bryan Singer made X-Men 2 and then made Superman Returns. I know that they had the opportunity to do something with Superman that was unique and creative, and what they decided to do was another movie where Lex Luthor is twiddling his fingers and he's got a boat or something. I just don't feel anything for Superman Returns.
Now, we might fight about this.
X-Men 3? You're joking.
More here. But I do really like this movie. I don't think it's... I objectively, it's probably not as good as X1 or 2. But I don't know. The Dark Phoenix story is one of my favorites. It always has been. It's not told that well.
It's told in a really bad way,
the way
actually.
that like the emotional beat of like when Jean incinerates Xavier is like burned into my memory. Like Magneto does a really good job of manipulating Jean, and I don't know. I think that the character beats are good. I don't think I could put it lower than fine.
Counterpoint, it's a bad adaptation of 3 different stories that it cannot juggle. It has really weird additions to the cast. Juggernaut sucks.
Yeah.
Mystique is taken out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about this movie is compelling. It's not X-Men or X-Men 2. And even right after this, they made Origins Wolverine. It also sucked. And then they made First Class.
Where would you put it?
I'd put it in bad. I wouldn't put it in terrible.
Rock, paper, scissors. Give me rock, paper, scissors, shoot, okay?
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I win. It stays in fine. It's a fine movie. It's fine. I know it's...
You know what? If we're putting Shark Boy and Lava Girl there, why not?
It's not... it's honestly not amazing, but I do really love this movie. X1 is definitely better, objectively. X2 is better, but I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Zoom...
Never seen it.
Bad. I've seen it, and as a kid, I really liked it. As Tim Allen. Tim Allen's a speedster, basically, but he's like an old, retired superhero. We don't see him use his powers till the very end, right? And they have a comic book written about his superhero adventures in the past. They start basically like a hero academy, and they have all these kids who are like troubled students or whatever, and they have powers, and he tries to teach them about their powers or whatever. And there's a bunch of teen romance, teen shit happening, and at the end, the old hero who used to be his brother or friend or whatever teleports out of this dimension and is the villain because he was like mind controlled or something to be the villain, and he's a villain again.
Okay.
And Zoom, the main character, unlocks his old powers again and spins around him real fast and makes his powers leave his body, the evilness leave his body.
This movie sounds like it sucks.
And yeah, it's bad, but fun, and I like it. Tim Allen, not a good superhero, but.
Sure. Yeah, that's a weird choice.
Silver Surfer, good.
It's fine.
Where did we put?
Oh, we put Fantastic Four and fine. Yeah, why not? It's good. It's
not much to say about it besides it's
Lawrence
fun. Mm-hmm.
Fishburne voices Silver Surfer, and the guy who plays Abe Sapien in Hellboy plays him physically. I don't remember what his name is.
Mm-hmm.
But Rise of the Silver Surfer is fun. People rag on them not doing Galactus enough, and honestly, again for the time, it was like 2007.
Bombastic.
2007 having a giant purple tuning fork man as the villain would have been crazy.
True.
And I don't think they could have gotten away with it.
I agree. I think I think my favorite part of this movie is the Invisible Woman.
Okay.
I know that.
I think the team dynamic in general.
I think it's better.
It's
better than the first for sure.
The action in this movie rocks.
Yes.
The scene where I think we're talking about the same thing.
The
Human
eye
Torch
comes down.
Oh, I was thinking the scene where Human Torch chases Silver Surfer through the streets of New York,
and he loses his powers for a bit.
Great sequence.
Yeah.
I think this movie is fun.
Where Sue's like holding her shield thing, and she she's like holding it, and she like has to step back into the water, and she's like stepping on her shield. Her nose starts bleeding. It's like
Well, and also a great use of the Fantastic Four's powers. I thought they were really lame in the first movie because toward the end it's like we got to defeat Dr. Doom. Let's stand in a circle and individually hit him with our things, and that's so lazy. I think this movie introduces the plot device of like, we're switching powers, and that throws the family dynamic off.
And it's fun.
Also, it's a good way to kind of have the Silver Surfer in the mix of this family drama, which I think the Fantastic Four just is.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Terrible or bad?
I'm
leaning more towards bad.
It's pretty terrible.
You're more terrible?
Yeah, I think Batman and Robin belongs in terrible, but it's neither here nor there. Yeah, Ghost Rider's bad. It's not terrible though, I don't think. Ghost Rider is a fun adaptation of Ghost Rider. And it's Nicolas Cage is fine in it.
I think he's honestly a pretty good hero.
Yeah.
Anti-hero, I guess. I don't know.
It's a fun supernatural movie. It's a pretty decent adaptation of Ghost Rider.
The action's not great.
No, but in 2007, what could you do with Ghost Rider? Again, kind of a Hulk scenario where it's like you guys should have waited. You guys definitely should have waited on
for sure. Spider-Man 3, I think is fine.
Not as bad as people say it is.
I agree. I think, again, like same thing as X3, except this literally juggles three different villains at the same time.
Yeah,
it does a better job of it, but I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. It's not as good as the other two, of course. I think the Venom symbiote is cool. Sandman's neat. I think the worst thing about this movie for me is the retcon of Uncle Ben being part of the origin story of Peter. It's a weird choice.
It's also weird to tie in Sandman into that a little bit.
Well, because the end result of it is, it was an accident. It what
he wasn't actually a bad guy,
which is like that's fine, but Peter not stopping the other criminal who he thought did it for so long is like that's the responsibility part. And if it was unrelated, then why did Peter learn that great power comes great responsibility? I don't think this was the way to go with that at all.
Speaking of great power, I have the mouse right now. And that means I could put this wherever I want. So hypothetically speaking,
no,
I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a really fun movie. It's also like two movies in one, because it's like the family drama of Raphael kind of being.
The video game?
Then it's also,
you get to play as edgy Raphael, like in his armor and with his motorcycle.
Like Night Watch or something?
Something like that.
I
didn't like the villain too much.
I think the villain's the worst part of the movie.
I like the people he brings back, but I don't like him, the villain himself.
I don't think... I think the whole like ancient curse thing, it's not very good, and it's also not very Turtles.
I agree. It's a little too like I say like bombastic, I guess, but it's like I don't know.
It's like they watched The Mummy, and then we're like, okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Transformers 1, it's fine.
Fair.
I'm thinking about the sequels, and I'm like, they get worse.
I think the first one is the best of the.
I think so too. Yeah. The Transformers 1 is a pretty fun movie, and I think it's a good Transformers movie, and it's fun, and it has cool action sequences.
Yeah. Underdog, I think it's a good movie, actually. I think it is better than Transformers. I think it does a good job of like just being a fun family movie. It's not a good superhero movie.
Are we really going to put Underdog in the same tier as Superman the movie?
I think I'd put it in a Fantastic Four too.
No.
Fine.
That's better.
So you're telling me Underdog does not sell that movie alone for you?
No,
you're telling me Corey in the House, whatever his name is. I almost said Sam Raimi. Whatever Corey in the House actors, Kyle Massey's Underdog rap does not sell this movie for you.
Let's stop talking about Underdog.
Okay.
Oh no! Because next is Hancock.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. I think Will Smith is a better, more relatable character in this than he is in Men in Black.
Here's the thing. Are we talking about the first half of Hancock or the last half of Hancock? Because I think the first
half's
one,
better.
The first one is like a fun, funny, drunken superhero movie, and the other one is like the weird, like pseudo Superman. Like we're from another planet, and we gotta do I think the back half of Hancock brings this movie down a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think the beginning of it is what I remember more anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think it's fine. I love the sequence where Hancock is like flying toward the. It's at the very beginning. He's flying on the freeway, and he like crashes into the window of the car, and he's like talking to the guys in there. Yeah, very fun.
I love when he like literally puts the guy's head up another guy's butt. He's like, "You're gonna put his head up my ass." You know,
it's fun and it's original for the time. I like it.
This one I remember being good.
Hellboy 2 is better than Hellboy 1. I think put it in good. Hellboy 2 is a very fun movie. I think it's a better Hellboy movie than Hellboy 1.
I think, what's the sidekick's name? Or the...
Fish guy?
Fish guy.
Abe Sapien.
I think he's fun.
Abe
I like him a
Sapien
lot
is
in
great.
this.
I think he's better in 2 than he is in 1. I think every character is better in 2 than they are in 1. And I think that's just because the first one does embrace Hellboy a lot more than you would expect it to, but I think this movie didn't need to slide you into it. I think it was just like, okay, now it's a red guy. He's red. Don't worry about it. He's the devil.
Iron Man, like,
It's good.
he set
I
he
think it's
set a
excellent.
standard.
I think it could be up there.
I think as its own movie, it stands out. Like,
it does.
outside of even like modern, if we want to call it modern MCU movies, Iron Man has a really great what would you call it, like, theme. I think the end of the movie isn't as good as the beginning of it. The final battle's good, but I think it's just like big suit Iron Man versus actual Iron Man is not that interesting. They didn't do it's a lot of interesting things with it, but Tony's fun. I think especially like Tony realizing that his technology is the problem starts off a series long arc that pays off really well.
Well, and I think this movie does a great job at kind of transitioning us into the modern era of superhero movies.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we get before this? Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which is great, but the dialogue is snappier, and the movies are maybe more formulaic, but Iron Man was the start of not just the MCU, but kind of a different way of making superhero movies, and I think that's a big achievement. Especially with, like, you're talking about the guy who made Elf and Robert Downey Jr., who was not a like good name at the time. He was a name, but Iron Man is transformative, and I think it deserves to be up there.
Yeah, especially Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in here stands out for a reason. There's a reason they kept him around and made him the centerpiece of most of the MCU for so long.
This movie is a real turning point. I think
it does a good job of embracing comic book while also being grounded. This is the new vibe that superhero movies will follow from the MCU especially will follow this from then on.
The new Punisher.
You know, it's incredibly violent. It's hyper violent even. No, I think it's better than the first Punisher. I think it's in fine.
Okay.
It's fun. People lambasted it at the time for being like incredibly gruesome, but it's kind of what the Punisher needs to be. And I think if it came out today, it would be received differently. I think it's as good as like Transformers.
That's fair.
I think it's as good as Hancock. I think Transformers might be better.
Is this Dark Knight?
That's the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, I feel like is good. Where did we put first one?
We put it in good. Are you gonna undersell the Dark Knight here? Because
I think it could go an excellent.
We've talked about this before. I don't love everything this movie does, but I think it's undeniably God tier.
God tier.
It's the Dark Knight, man.
Okay, I think.
If
you think this is God tier, I'll give it to you.
I talk a lot about this movie, and even though I don't love everything Nolan did with Batman, I think of the three, this one stands out as like the Batman movie. This is definitively like one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, and I don't think it's just because of Heath Ledger's Joker. I think it balances Bruce Wayne and Batman in a wonderful way, and it sets Batman in this world of crime that is like escalating, and it's not the most interesting Gotham City, but it's Batman at its peak. I think it's the Dark Knight, man. Like
I think this is the best Batman movie.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm giving it the God tier. I think it is the best Batman movie.
Yes, agreed.
Hulk.
Yeah, sure. It's boring.
It again, same issues, but this one has Abomination as the villain, right?
Yeah. Same issues. I might put it in bad, but I'm not gonna fight you over it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that
It's not that interesting.
It's not interesting.
This is the one where he has the heart monitor watch,
I'll tell you
right?
what, put it in bad because I think Edward Norton has a cool performance in it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's just boring. It's
Again,
just boring.
that's
It's
the only
not-
reason I put it in terrible is because it's boring.
I still
I'm fine
think
with
Batman
that.
and Robin deserves to be lower than that.
You've said that a couple times, so I'm fine with moving it. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not that attached to it.
It's between Hulk and Dredd.
Okay.
It's a terrible movie.
I mean,
Batman and Robin, man.
G.I. Joe, fine, but I want to put it in bed.
I want to put it in bed too.
Yeah, it's not good.
Nope.
I thought you
Next.
were about to say fine. There's nothing really. That's not a good movie.
I don't need to talk about G.I. Joe.
The second Transformers movie, bad.
Bad. I think it might be the worst one of the original three. No,
Really?
I think it's undeniably the worst one of the
I
original
think
three.
which one does Optimus like die in? It's the night one or whatever. I think it's the third one.
Third one, I think.
Dark of the Moon. Yeah, that one was my least favorite one.
That movie is 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
But it does a cool job at being like, this is the climax of the Transformers, and it's an epic tale and whatever. I think Revenge of the Fallen is just like...
I think my least favorite thing about the Transformers movies is what they do with Sam. They're like, let's make society continue... Like, he goes on these big adventures and everything, and let's make society, like, hate on him in multiple different ways and just make his life awful for no reason. And then he's not a fun character. Like, why do they keep bringing him back if, like... What does he really add to the quote-unquote gang or whatever, you know? Like, why does Optimus care about this human that doesn't really do anything? I don't know. Watchmen, is this the movie? No, I haven't seen this.
So, I am a huge fan of the Watchmen graphic novel. And a better Watchmen movie would be a definitive superhero movie. Because Watchmen, the comic book, is a definitive superhero comic. And it's a good adaptation even, but it takes certain steps that just don't emulate the book that well. And this is the beginning of the Zack Snyder does controversial things with DC characters. And we'll get into more of Zack Snyder's movies. I do like what he does with DC characters. And I like Watchmen. But I think it belongs in Fine. Just because it's not... Maybe it deserves to be in Good, but I'm going to put it in Fine just because Watchmen is not as groundbreaking as it should be. I might put it in Good. It's better than Fantastic Four 2. It's not everything it should be, but it is a very solid adaptation of Watchmen.
Fair.
I think the director's cut is better. I think the ultimate cut is dumb. It doesn't need to exist. Anyway, it's Watchmen.
Well, I mean, to conclude this era of movies, we're going to do the rest of this in the next part.
Yes.
We got X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm torn between bad and terrible.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's bad. I think
it could be terrible though.
I think it could be.
It's not garbage.
Argument for bad. There are some emotional beats that hit.
Hugh Jackman is good as Wolverine.
Yes. Also, the villain being the Wolverine isn't good. Like the other Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, but not Hugh Jackman. I didn't really like that at all.
Schreiber
But I love the human moments of when he is at the old people's house or whatever. I forget who they were. He was at the people's house and they give him their son's motorcycle jacket and whatever.
I think that the origin story of Wolverine is cool. I think the whole Weapon X program bits, I remember them being cool.
I like the scene at the beginning with the bone claws when he's in what looks like
cool.
the 1600s or whatever.
Pretty cool. But for the argument for terrible, it's X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
This movie shouldn't represent comic book movies at all, and especially after Iron Man, which this was only 2 years after Iron Man. But even they had already made X-Men and X2. This movie had no right being X-Men Origins Wolverine. I don't think it explores anything particularly interesting about the character that we didn't know already, and it does a lot of things with X-Men characters like Gambit and Deadpool and the Blob. Why are we doing? Why are we adapting characters like this?
I'll move it to terrible just because of how little they do with the characters they introduce.
Yeah.
Like, especially Gambit. Gambit didn't deserve to only be... His only movie adaptation did not deserve to only be that. Deadpool... You know, even the Deadpool movie trashes on how bad that Deadpool is. You know, I think that's a fair ranking. It's terrible.
I think that movie just had so much to live up to, and it didn't even try.
Mm-hmm. I think in general, this list I agree with mostly. I think
it's kind of wonky.
There's a lot more.
It's so
fine,
subjective.
Fine and bad movies than there are the other. Which I agree.
Here's the thing. Of course, a ranking can't be like completely objective, but there's also some crazy stuff like Superman's in Good, which I think is totally fine because I'm not a huge fan of it.
I could like move.
I could move a couple things around.
Blade,
I could
Unbreakable. I could move.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl could be way lower, but we like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yes, I particularly love Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I think Sky High could be in bad though.
I don't know. I could, but like, you know,
it's fine.
There's some stuff that could move around, but I think in general this captures the the spirit.
I'm gonna take us back to the very beginning. I want you to move Batman 66 into Good.
It's too many Batman movies, dog.
He's Batman. I don't know what to tell you, man.
This one? I'm these are so small I cannot see.
Here's the thing. No, that's Batman Returns. This is Batman 66.
Okay.
I just want it right there.
Okay.
Although
okay.
I think Adam West Batman is
I'm going to
fantastic.
move Mask down.
I don't know when it came out. Put it put it before
like
Darkman, I think.
Darkman?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
We'll put it here.
Doesn't matter. It's the Mask. I think this is a pretty solid list.
Yeah. Well,
so far.
Then next episode we're gonna go over all of these. I know this has been a long discussion, but yeah, this has been fun. I think, yeah, I especially agree with God Tier. Excellent. I haven't seen this one, so I would definitely move it down. But otherwise, I agree with these. Good.
It gets a little iffy.
That's when everything else is like more like there's one or two things I might like shift around a little bit. But yeah, I think I agree with most of those.
I think we've done a good job at compartmentalizing our opinions here, and there are some I would certainly like to talk about in more detail. Batman Returns, I think we should return to because it is the best Batman movie ever made.
Whatever you say, dog.
I really like Batman Returns.
Yeah.
But I'm satisfied. And I'm excited to talk about a more modern era of superhero movies and a different kind of bad superhero movie.
For sure.
And a different kind of good superhero movie.
For sure. These are way, like, the vibe, like, if you look at everything that comes after, the vibes of everything is so different.
Well, just look at the posters.
Yeah. They get so much more neon and vibrant up here. When everything is so dark and dingy mostly. It's either dark or dingy or has, like, a secondary color.
Well, and that's not even to say that, dark and dingy toward the more modern era of superhero movies is even a bad thing, because you have a movie like Logan, which stands above the rest, I think. We'll get there.
Well, this has been fun. Yeah.
Thanks. We're gonna do another one.
Thanks everyone for watching. This is Daniel and Peyton signing off.
Bye.